Is your company looking to maximize their output while cutting back on costs? Why outsource all your production to faraway countries like India, China, and Narnia when we have the cheapest and best workforce right here in the good old US of A? Women. That's right. With pink sourcing, women are a bargain at the workplace since you only have to pay them 77 cents on the dollar. Right, Kathy?
Wait, what? I make 60 cents. Who are you, Bill Gates?
¿De qué? I make 55 cents. Who is she, Yeezy?
No, come on. Those are men. Even more importantly, you don't have to pay women overtime. They'll never ask for a raise, and they don't complain about their working conditions. Right, Kathy? Also, you don't have to pay for women's birth control. And if they do get knocked up, when they leave to have the baby, you get off scot-free. But don't worry, guys. Your boner pills are still covered. And ladies, who cares if you make $30,000 less than men at your job when they have free tampons in the bathroom? Best of all, you can promote literally anyone else besides them, especially if they're less qualified.
That doesn't make sense.
After all, women don't even really want to be working anyway. They'd rather be home, taking care of the family, while their husband gets to make life choices and follow his dreams and play fantasy football.
But I just want to know, I mean, have you called the French foreign minister, for instance?
No, but we're in the process of arranging for me to go to France and to Germany.
Do you know who he is?
Don't start pub quizzing me, don't start pub quizzing me.
He's the French foreign minister. Do you know his name?
No, and I'm not going to start answering your questions on this.
Well, it was just we had that one you were Shadow Defence Secretary on DEFCON.
Do you know what really upsets me about your attitude to me is that you do this with me. I don't remember you doing it with anybody else, you know. Have you done it to David Davis? Have you asked these questions? Did Sky journalists have a go at Boris Johnson on this basis?
I've had discussions
How about
with
Liam Fox?
I've had discussions with David Davis. I've had many discussions with Liam Fox.
I mean, honestly, really.
But worth a call from Boris Johnson to the South Korean president, whose name I guess you don't know.
And the important point, which is about our security and world security, is that how we are going to approach North Korea into the future.
All right, but how would we?
And if you want me to go with you to a pub tonight, and we can do a pub quiz tonight, let's do it.
I'm not the Shadow Foreign Secretary.
You know, honestly.
I'm not the Shadow Foreign Secretary. You know, I mean, we're talking about perhaps global conflict here, and one nation threatening nuclear strikes on the other.
Yes.
Thought you might have been rather.
And I can tell you that I am extremely interested in this, and I will talk about. I will. I'm not getting drawn by you into this nonsense. I'm quite prepared to talk politics with you and to talk about the principles and the threats to the country.
But just for future reference, Park Geun-hye.
And whether that's racism, whether that's anti-Semitism or sexism, you know, I think that we absolutely must call it.
But it's interesting you're saying there is more to be done within the Labour Party.
There is always more to be done. There is always more to be done, and do you know what? There's certainly a lot more to be done by the Tories, and I certainly think that sometimes when it comes to sexism, some Sky presenters need to look at themselves too. I really do. It really upsets me that every time I come on here, you do another pub quiz with me, because you do not do it with anybody else, and I do think that it's patronising.
Let me address it, Emily Thorne. It's not, because you are the Shadow Foreign Secretary.
Yeah, right.
And this was about the French Foreign Minister, Jean-Marc Ayrault, who Boris Johnson has met now.
Let's take this offline, because I've got a lot to say to you, and I don't think a lot of it ought to be broadcast.
Emily Thorne, for the time being, thank you very much indeed, and more than keen to have that discussion on air if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a question way back when I can't even remember when Mr. Johnson, Alan Johnson, was Shadow Chancellor. We had discussions about the rate of national insurance, which he didn't know, and he should have known, I would have suspected, as Shadow Chancellor. It's Alan Johnson. I'll just leave it there with you. Emily Thornbury, thank you very much. I'm sure you ought to get the last word, of course. And you're watching Moynihan on Sky News.
It's a public place.
Public place.
Make America great again, and she's completely freaking out. We're allowed to film whatever. Support a political candidate.
You're not allowed to share hate language in the university.
I'm saying make America great. What is hate language about? You don't care. I want to hear.
Make America great again means make America all for white people, no immigrants, no people with different sexual orientations.
His wife is an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant.
That doesn't mean anything.
How is it not? You just said no immigrants.
It doesn't mean anything. I could have a brother who's was gay and I could not be supportive of gay people. It doesn't mean anything. Your values.
So why is he? You just say he doesn't like immigrants. His wife's an immigrant. It's illegal immigrants that he doesn't want.
You're not even
illegal.
connecting.
You're saying he? I asked you, does he not like immigrants? You're like, he doesn't like immigrants.
Just because he's married to an immigrant doesn't mean that his policies and what he stands for is promoting people of different colors being in our university.
It's illegal immigrants.
Freaking dude, like, we're friends and I level with you, but like, you gotta take the hat off, or I'm gonna write the president of the university and he's gonna come and talk to you because I already talked to him about this. It's not allowed. It's hate language on campus. You can do it with me or you can do it with David Doherty. I waited to talk to you in person and I've already talked to him about this. You can laugh because it's so going to happen. And I can't wait for him to come.
He's wearing a hat that he wants to wear. What is wrong with the hat?
I'm not allowed to wear a shirt. I'm not allowed to wear a shirt.
Yeah, no. Yo, let's go. This is ridiculous.
Okay,
You're
you
all.
can
This
come
is
with me
just.
now, and you can
Make America great again. It's a hat. He's wearing a hat. Trump doesn't hate immigrants.
So much more. It's so
How is it so much more? You don't know anything about Trump. You don't know anything. You don't know one little thing. Okay.
Please.
Keep wearing the hat, man. Keep wearing the hat. Is that what you want? That is insane. This is all on camera. Yo, keep wearing that hat. If I had my Trump stuff, this girl is just fucking
You're not supporting the hat. Dude,
so
you
if you want me to come talk to
David,
David,
I will. You gotta take
Make
it off.
America. Why does he have to take it off?
Do me a
Because
favor,
of what it
please.
stands for. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just please stop. Stop.
Yo, give him the hat back.
Keeping it.
To speak while women write, while women exist online, while women is dangerous. There is an online epidemic of violence against women. How did it come to this? To generations of terrified men hiding behind screens, muttering violent utterings, whore, slut, cunt, feminazi. Because for us to choose to be heard instead of just seen is still revolutionary. Every time I receive a wave of online violence and abuse, I find it is the same thing. It is always from men. It is about the fact that I am speaking, that I dare to be speaking while living in this body, while this body is living in this world. The first time I received a death threat for my poetry, I was proud. I belly laughed with the joy of it. I wore it as a badge of honour. I felt it read, I am a dangerous woman. I threaten patriarchy. I make the status quo shake to its core. I am a dangerous woman. Hear me roar. In a big bad world that no longer belongs to only them, but to all of us. Whore, slut, cunt, feminazi. These are words used to pin us down, to keep us quiet. But we are dangerous women when we choose to speak. To choose to speak is to realize that you are explosions. In the center of the status quo, they are only looking for ways to disarm you. They are only looking for ways to silence you, to make you safe for them, to make you compliant. And they will not succeed, because we are dangerous women, because to speak is to be a dangerous woman, and we will never shut up.
And the second sort of safe space we're talking about is a actual physical safe location for different identity groups. So for example, a student who is from the LGBT community will have a safe space on campus, which is kind of like a room that everybody else who is from that same community can come and get together, can organize. And right now on campus, we actually have 6 of those safe spaces. It's the RSU Equity Service Centers, and those are free from anybody who does not identify with that community to not enter that, and let that be kind of like one room on campus. So it is basically a room on campus. That's what it is. It's like a room probably smaller than this, where they can talk about any sort of issues that that community is facing. One group who is marginalized, who is oppressed, to ask for one room on campus just to organize, just to have that as kind of a safe space away from any sort of oppression or trigger, I don't think that would be too much to ask for.
We're not running a daycare center here, okay? This is a university where you go to see differing viewpoints, And to be scrubbing the campus clean of differing viewpoints, of dissenting, political discourse, things like that, is really the antithesis of what a university is supposed to be. Students, I've had a vast majority of students who are afraid, some of them are here, who are afraid themselves to speak up and talk about certain things because of the intimidation, the bullying. It's really a bully tactic. It's not about being nice, it's about control. This is what this whole movement is about. And I really think that it's quite regressive. They say it's progressive, and Rabbi, you said it's a solution. Well, I actually think it's a symptom of a larger problem of extreme political correctness. It's not a solution at all. When you're segregating these people off, you're basically, this ideology doesn't want people as individuals, they want them as the identity. Black, white, brown, straight, gay, whatever. They want to put you in that bucket. They want to teach you what to think. They don't want to teach you how to think. It goes back to the days of Socrates. We used to teach people how to think critically. Now we're teaching them what to think.
You can't expect somebody to have a thick skin because that's how society works, right? You can't expect that. There are people who emotionally can't, physically can't, they just can't do it. And to expect them because that's how society works, you should not be blaming that person for not being able to do that. Maybe it's another look on society.
So you're saying they're immature, is what you're saying. They're too immature, is what you're saying.
You cannot equate that to immaturity, though.
The difference with something like an educational meeting and one of these meetings is that we're actually teaching people, like I said, putting them into buckets, teaching them to be victims. We're opening the door for victimhood. And when you teach that, it actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But
what happens when they actually are victims and they are actually working towards creating a different environment where they themselves don't have to be the victim anymore?
That's a good thing, and that that should be something we should be emphasizing. See, the people on the left, they're obsessed with equal outcome when they should be equal outcome of the collective. Their herd mentality. They should be focused on equal opportunity of the individual. When you claim to be the VP Equity, but when you're kicking out...
Well, she is the VP Equity.
You're claiming to be equal. When you're kicking out white students because of the color of their skin at a racialized students collective, having that policy on the books,
but when
that's not very good.
When white students themselves are not racialized, I don't
how do you know that? You're racializing me right now by saying I can't go to these spaces.
So see, that's another thing. There's a lot of learning and unlearning that I see that you need to do. There's a lot of learning and unlearning that I see that you need to do.
You need to do the learning.
No.
Well,
okay, so a lot of the equity service centers actually hold a lot of events where any student on campus can come and learn about why these equity service centers exist and why these students have issues and why these issues are valid.
Okay.
Right? And so what I do is I ask anybody who kind of questions why these centers exist to please come out to these events and actually try and learn with an open mind. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to what you say.
Well, no, I do totally understand what you're saying, but I'm actually saying that it's working against the goal of what you're trying to achieve. What I'm saying is that, it's the herd mentality, right? Like, everybody who's in one group, they put them in the bucket of whatever segment is, say it's straight or white. You put them in the bucket, you teach them, now they're in this bucket, now they're part of this collective, and now the collective is taught what to think and what to get offended by. And you see people all over campus that are of these racialized or are of different demographics, but they don't need the safe space because they're smarter than that. You have the two white kids in the event, the racialized students collective, getting kicked out. See, I don't find that acceptable. And as a VP Equity, you should be totally outraged by that.
Not really. If I am talking in a classroom, there's going to be white people, black people, everybody around, and they can listen, right? If I want to talk specific issues that racialized students face, I do not think that white people need to be in that space, because racialization is people who are other than white. That's what being racialized is.
What are you saying you want to see happen to these safe spaces in the future?
It can't be done overnight. These people have become dependent on these safe spaces. So we should have a place. I believe that they would be better called student groups than safe spaces. A lot of people think safe spaces are ridiculous.
That's what I want to know.
Sorry?
Who are the people that have these problems?
Have what problems?
Right, problems with safe spaces. It's people who do not access safe spaces. That's the thing, it's people who do not need safe spaces.
Well, it's an issue of free speech in society.
But see, that's the thing. We have free speech, but there's a limit to that free speech. If your free speech is impeding on somebody's right to exist, impeding on somebody's right to basically
There's no limits to
say
free
whatever
speech
they
in a free country. This is something that's a fundamental disagreement.
If you say something discriminatory against me as being a woman, being a Muslim woman as well, you do not have that right to free speech.
I have the right to do it. Within the law, I do have that right. So you need to read the Constitution. I don't agree with harassment, but I agree with free speech. And people need to realize, I don't agree with hate speech, but hate speech is free speech to an extent. If you're harassing or threatening someone, I don't agree with that. I'm not a mean person. You say the idea is I don't care about these people because I'm denouncing safe spaces. It's the opposite. I care about these people, and I think that the safe spaces are working against the end goal. When you're segregating yourselves off into ever shrinking subsets of the population, you're actually being regressive. You're not being progressive at all.
The thing I want to end off with is that you're basically speaking on behalf of people who need safe spaces and telling them what is good for them.